Welcome back. Now, there seems to be no end in sight to the persistent scarcity of petrol in the country, which appears to be getting worse, with many Nigerians buying the product at a premium at the black market or waiting endlessly in prolonged queues for the product at the regulated price. Already, the impact has been felt in the rising cost of transportation, services, and dwindling household incomes. Commuters have witnessed at least 200% hike in the cost of transportation. Similarly, the traffic created as a result of the fuel queues continues to impact productivity as many people now spend more hours on the road. There fears that the fuel scarcity might get worse in the days and weeks to come due to the many issues affecting the smooth supply of the product across the country. On Tuesday, President Muhammadu Buhari set up a 14-man steering committee to enforce petroleum product supply and compliance with official prices. The president will personally chair the steering committee, while the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Silva, is the alternate chairman. Now, other members of the committee are the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, National Economic Advisor to the President, Director General, Department of State Services, DSS, Controller General of the Nigeria Customs Service. Then there's the Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and the Commandant General of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Also in the committee is the Chief Executive of the Nigeria Midstream now and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, as well as the Group Executive Officer of NNPC Limited. We also have the Special Advisor to the Minister of State for Petroleum in that committee as well. And there's also the Technical Advisor Midstream, who is the Secretary of the committee. Now, the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority is to ensure strict compliance with the government's approved ex-depot and retail prices for petrol. Among others, the committee is expected to ensure stock management, visibility on the NNPC Limited refineries, rehabilitation, and track daily distribution to tackle smuggling. To further ensure sanity in the supply and distribution across the value chain, the President directed the NMDPR RA now to ensure that NNPC Limited, which is the sole supplier of PMS, meets the domestic supply obligation of petrol and other petroleum products in the country. So far, the impact of the committee has not been felt days after it was set up, as the scarcity continues to bite harder. Let's now get some insights on this from an energy expert, Alex Ney, who joins us from Warri. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. How confident are you that this committee that the president has set up would ultimately resolve this scarcity we've been dealing with now for a very long time?
Well, I will start by saying this, it's not just a question of committee and just talk. When the president came in, he assured Nigerians that there will be constant supply of oil at a lower price. All the things you can think of in this world were being said. Now, when you look at the committees they are setting up, the cadre of people that are in the committee, no doubt, is the person that slept by you, you put your hands on. But this country needs to go back and start doing some due diligence to find people who have competencies. We have people like DEJI360. They run the refinery. They retired from NNPC. There are a lot of people who understand this business very well. When you start setting up committee, these brand names that we know that can do something, that have knowledge, nobody shows up. So it's like one of those things, we're going to give you free petrol price will go down from the beginning till now. We are still facing it. And typically, Nigerians' economy is not typical book or classic economic theories that work here. So we must have that in our minds. Once you make a pronouncement, the tendency is people look for ways to harness it. No checkpoint on the road, IG. police will look for a way to be on the road and extort money. This petrol thing is just similar thing. So we're still moving like a yo-yo. Let us start pulling our minds away from X or Y. If anything comes up, a Nigerian is a Nigerian. Any person that have the competence, no matter where it comes from, if they are the same brother from the same house, use them to set up your committee and get effective results.
And let me just quickly ask you, let me quickly ask you this. I'm not trying to digress, but I know you stay in Warri, and there's supposed to be a refinery there. What exactly is the field situation in Warri, where you have a refinery, and Warri is supposed to be like a crude capital, so to speak, for Nigeria?
Like Richmond, Texas, and the Bay Area and Houston area, where you have all the refinery. But I can assure you, this refinery here is moribund. This refinery has not produced a liter of petrol. So here in Warri, we are faced with worse situation. You go to any filling station now, you cannot get fuel for anything less than 450 naira a liter. Some places 500. So it's a shame. But here we are. Sometimes I sit down, I wonder, am I really a Nigerian? Is this what should happen in the country where all of us are? Why not take the right step to pick the right guys to do things? It's not everything you turn into a political arena. We are putting square pegs in round holes and won't get the desired results. For 7 years, the fuel price will come down. We're going to get surplus fuel. We have so reserve and all this. This is all just talk. Let us get down. We have competencies.
Don't you think the problem is that Nigeria is just refusing to bite the bullet and just go on full deregulation? Because it would seem that the problem now, even though the government is not admitting it, is that it's just become very expensive to continue with this subsidy regime.
Over 10 years ago, I was interviewed, NTA, channels, and I told them, who is subsidizing who? I asked that question. Nigeria, who is subsidizing who? Somebody tells you bring 300 million liters. Then you have the DPR, then they will say, we check 300 million liters to this spec, to that spec. So the subsidy you pay is on 300 million liters. While in reality, what is being delivered is far less than that. So somebody lives fat on it. We cannot continue as a nation like this.
But as we speak today, the NNPC is the sole.
We are not subsidizing anything, so we don't need any subsidy, because what you say you are subsidizing is not real. If you bring in 300 million barrels, I sat down to calculate the number of vehicles in this country from X time to Y time, assuming no vehicle is packed, and they are filled once a day. And I did the calculation. The amount of petrol that you really need compared to what they said is being brought, it does not tally. So we are subsidizing fuel for who? Who is subsidizing who?
All right.
This is scam.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, sir. The Dangote refinery is expected to begin operation in a couple of months. Of course, we've been told that the Port Harcourt refinery that is undergoing rehabilitation too will come on stream now soon. Do you think these refineries, when they begin operation now, would make a huge difference in the current situation we're dealing with now, as far as petrol, PMS is concerned?
Well, what we are looking at, if there's no subsidy, naturally in a typical economic situation, the market forces should regulate the price. It's pure, simple supply and demand. But I told you when I started, I say in Nigeria, typical economic theories don't work here. because of the type of people we are. The fuel scarcity we have today, take Warri, for example, there's fuel in the station. Now we are changing money. There's a hype. Even if you go to the petrol station, as of today, I went out there, people are refusing to take the old Naira. And the new Naira is not available. Some will tell you we don't want POS, we want new money. So typical economic theory just don't work in this country. We have to go back to the drawing board and start being real to ourselves. Get the right people in the right places, not man, no man. Let us be a little bit focused. And the petroleum industry, like I said, is not a market for selling gari and rice. Nigerian government has to get it right. You must pick people with competencies to go into this system and make it work. So when you turn it like selling gari and starch or panga in the market, then this is what you get. You need key people with knowledge to put us in the right paths. If you look at all the cadre of people that are being picked to go to places, look at their background. Go to Google and Google there, see their background. Do they have the competency to deliver what we are talking about? So that's a problem. Then coupled with us not going purely with typical economic principles. Look at the cement. Cement is produced in Nigeria. We used to import cement. Prices were lower. Today, look at the price. So typical economic laws don't work here.
So quick means what you are saying in essence. So what you're saying in essence is that there's no guarantee that petrol prices will be lower if these refineries like the Dangote refinery and the Port Harcourt refinery, if they begin to produce and we produce locally.
The chances are slim because economic theories don't work here just like that. Normally, if the Dangote refinery comes on, the Port Harcourt refinery comes on, then the demand, if it's what it is now with all that coming in, then it will regulate the price. That is the normal market situation in a normal environment, the law of supply and demand. But we are in a place where anything goes. Now, if the Dangote refinery comes in and the nearby country, maybe the price of oil is higher there, he's a businessman. What do you expect him to do? Maximize his profit. All these things he's doing, is it his money? He's taking loan. People are buying into the organization. People are looking at the rate of return on their investments.
That's true.
So the market that will give him more money, if I were him, that's where I would go to. Because it is not Nigerian money, it is investors' money. So if we hope that when the refinery comes on, the other ones come on, the prices are going to be regulated, that is normal, standard thing that should happen. But from experience in this country, people hoard products and turn the economic theory into something else. So you have to go think out of the box to come up with something that is enduring in this country, whether it's cement or petroleum or whatever. Go to the market here now, prices are up. The women, they will not take the old Naira from you, just nearby markets at Tobogo here, not too far from me. So what are we talking about? The fuel, they are in
really
station. Some people will even hold their fuel now, they will not sell. And they are waiting for it to build up to about 500, 550. They open the place and sell for a few. This is something you got at maximum 200 Naira, 500 Naira. We don't have conscience. And who is suffering it? It's every one of us. And that's why you have so much accumulated money now, and people are stuck. I sincerely doff my heart for this change of money. Come that 31st, all the starch things you stock somewhere, they will go rot in your house. Then we'll go back to the drawing boards. Something drastic needs to happen in this country to make people sit up and be prudent in whatever they do. That is the problem, from
All
top
right.
to bottom.
Mr. Alex Ney, thank you very much for coming on the program as always. Thank you so very much for your time.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Well, that's how much we can take on the program this week. Well, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.